vision. This is what they trying to claim, But I don't care if you give me a spiritual visitation or not. The Holy Spirit gonna be in me regardless, and He gonna reveal all things to me regardless that I need to know, And if you out there talking about me and conspiring against me while I'm in a cell trying to pay me out to be a mental patient, He gonna reveal it to me regardless. It ain't nothing you can say about me. Ain't nothing, no conspiring you can do, no counsel outside of the Lord. And everybody know that I wasn't guilty, and they know that wasn't right. They all knew that. So, when she hopped up to try to fight me, like, oh, I'll do this to you, I'll do that to you, I didn't even still know that I was pregnant. Because I thought that I had a miscarriage because of the blood. But God knew that I was. So, I grabbed, she got it like she was going to fight me in the video, like, oh, what's up? And I grabbed the gun. And I said, pow! Again, so in the restaurant, when Austin was attacking my child and attacking me, I shot the gun in the air. Pow! And he kept on trying to attack my baby. Well, he kept on attacking him, and I shot him. So, in this vision, when Tess tried to attack me, for calling her out, I pulled the gun off the shelf. It came out of nowhere, and I just pulled the gun off the shelf, and I said, pow! And everybody ran so goddamn quick. Shakina ran, Larissa ran, Tess ran, all the women in court, they was all in bed together. They ran. They went, pew! I'm talking about like, whoo, like if you ever seen them cartoons with Speedy Gonzalez and all of that old kind of stuff, when they, whoo, like they just run like that, they was gone. Like, she was 1 minute she was in my face, like, and they all came to jump me. So when she hopped up, like she was finna do something, all of them came towards me too, like they were gonna jump in to help her fight me. And I was like, pow! And then they all went shoom, like, and then so my lawyer was in it too. My lawyer. So when they all went pum and they left out of the bedroom and they all went pum into the living room. And when I came out after them in the living room with the gun in my hand. And I was butt naked. And I was standing in the middle of the living room like this with the gun in my hand. But it wasn't pointed at them. But when I ran after them, I had the gun in my hand and I ran out of the bedroom after them. And they went boom, and I ran out after them into the living room, and they all was hiding in this living room, and it was furniture around the walls of the living room, and it was an open living room, and it kind of looked similar to my apartment a little bit, but it was not the same exact floor plan. And so I had the gun in my hand like this, and I was completely butt naked. I didn't have on no clothes, and I had all of a sudden, if you ever seen, I think my hair was straight in the cell, but then my hair was like a little afro or something like that, I think. And if you ever seen, like, it was like a little kid running around with a gun, like, hey, where y'all going? Come back. With the gun, like, that's how I was running after them. Like, come on, come out and play. Don't y'all want to play with me? And I had the gun. And it's laughable, but it's not, because people still trying to kill me, man. But this is what I saw. And it was like, I was like, come on, y'all, come out and play, man. Come on. Why y'all hiding from me? Come on out. And it was like scary, because if you ever see a little kid running after you with a loaded gun and they laughing and and you like, oh hell no, this little motherfucker got a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then y'all running and hiding from a little kid, like, oh hell no. That's kind of how they was hiding from me. Like, they was hiding from me like I was a little kid running around with a gun. And so, but I didn't come out there and say all that, but that's just like how the aura of it was. And so I was standing right there. I ran out, like I was kind of angry. And they ran, and I came out after them, and I felt like a little kid with a gun in my hand. And I was butt naked. And I felt like I was in trouble. So I had the gun in my hand. And I was standing there butt naked. And they was all hiding behind the furniture. So this is how they was hiding. This chair, they was like this. And you can see their eyes. And they was like looking evil as hell. And they was like, and they was smiling like, but their eyes was wicked. I mean, when I tell y'all, their eyes was wicked as hell. And I was standing there like real innocent, holding the gun like a little kid, like, you know what I'm saying? But I was coming after them. And so basically they was hiding behind the furniture and they was looking evil and they was hiding, but they was peeking out like they was peeking, and they was like you could see their shoulders going up and down. They was breathing hard like and smiling like evil as hell. And I ain't never seen nothing so evil, because their eyes was like big, and then it was evil, and then it was like, oh my God. But you know what I'm saying? And then all of them was like, I didn't see my sisters after that. Like, they was hiding real good. I didn't see my sisters. I didn't see Tess. They was hiding real good. But I seen the white women from the courtroom. I seen them hiding behind the furniture in the living room. And the rest of them, when they ran, they ran out with them, or they was hiding behind the bed. I don't know, but they was hiding. And I couldn't see them because they was hiding real good. My sisters and Tess was hiding real good. But my lawyer and the other women from the courtroom was hiding behind the furniture. And then one of the guards came in, this big old fat guard. I hate to call people fat, but he was huge. But he was not like real obese. He was like big old hefty. And he came in, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. Because they finna tell him that I shot this gun, and he finna take me to jail. He finna take me to prison for having this gun in my hand. Well, that's pretty much what I felt. I felt like when he came in, I was standing there butt naked in the middle of the living room like this. And I was looking at my lawyer right there behind some furniture. And the other white women was hiding behind some furniture in this living room in this apartment. And I had the gun like this in my hand. I was holding it. And I was standing right there, and I was butt naked. And here I am standing there butt naked, done chased them in the living room with a gun, and here come the man come busting in from outside. And he came stomping in there like boom, boom, boom. And then he was like, what the hell? He was like, what's going on? You know, but he was standing like this, like looking at them and just looking around like, what is going on? And all of a sudden, I seen my attorney. She ran out quick. She was like, boom. But she was on this side, so I'm going to say she was like, boom. And she ran in front of him, and she puffed up at him, and she was like, she shot a gun. And like, she was short, and he was tall. And she was looking up at him like she shot a gun. And then he was like, nobody should have been messing with her. And I felt like he was going to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? He was like, well, nobody should have been messing with her. And then her eyes started twitching like this at him. Like, I know you ain't trying to stand up for this girl. Like, that's how she was looking. Like, her eyes started twitching, and it started to shake a little bit. And then another one of the women ran out. And she said, boom, and she ran into a courtroom, and she started telling a whole bunch of lies. And I was in the courtroom all of a sudden too. So, and there was a big old computer screen. It was like a TV, because I didn't know how the courtroom looked. I didn't know that their courtrooms were so high tech or whatever, to where they have, big TV screens in there, and they actually did when I went to court. So this was before my first court day, so I didn't know what the courtroom looked like or anything. But I was standing in front of the little place where they talk about you and say what you did. And the other white lady that came from the furniture said, boom, and all of a sudden we was in the courtroom. And I was standing right there, and I was standing right there, and the girl, she was like I think she was a brunette or whatever, and she just started telling a whole bunch of lies. And I didn't even hear exactly what she said, but the spirit told me she's lying. And she was like, and that's how it came out. Like just blabber, like just lies. Because she was making up a whole bunch of stuff, you know what I'm saying, to say about me or whatever. And then it was like a little slot machine. Like you never know what you really gonna get. And then all of a sudden, after she got done talking, a big old not guilty sign popped up on the computer screen and some hands. And I was like, I woke up like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? And so I was like, what about my case? You know? What about my case? You know? So I was not guilty. And everybody knew that I was not guilty. But they had me back there trying to pay me out to be a mental patient in the segregated housing units. And then my family had started answering my calls and all of this old kind of stuff. And, you know, when they didn't even have the trial for me. They didn't even do a trial. So what they did was they dropped the charges, and then people been plotting on me and all of that old kind of stuff. So either way, I'm gonna get past that part or whatever. And I just want to say that it was a whole spiritual experience for me while I was back there with me and God. And it was an experience with me and the devil. It was an experience with me and Satan. And so God was with me. He handled Satan. He handled the devil. He handled the witches that was trying to do the witchcraft. He handled everybody. And then now that I'm out, people trying to do stuff to me physically still, you know, and then people been plotting on me since I've been out. So this is the whole thing about my son, as far as why would you give my child to Cynthia O'Vera and then go in there and lie about it? So I'm gonna tell y'all a part about the pregnancy, because they were poisoning me. We already went past that. And I ended up, when they brought me back in there, and Sergeant Vels came to the door, and I was crying and screaming. She said, I'm going to see what I can do to get you removed from back here, after they brought me when I was in the cell with Katie, and then when I was going into labor. So I was in there with Katie, Danielle, and Miss Brown, and I was going into labor. So because somebody said I checked my service or whatever, when I got back there, they said, I didn't know nothing about them saying anything about my service at first, because I asked the girls. I went up to them. I said, did y'all say anything about me to get me moved back to the segregated housing unit? They were like, no, we don't know what they're doing. We don't know what they're talking about. And they lied. So, when they brought me back there, they was like, oh, we trying to get you on medication. And I was like, no. So I don't take no medication. He was like, oh, well, you're not taking your medicine. And I was like, I don't take medication. So you lying. You know, he was like, well, you need to talk to mental health and they can get you moved from back here. So I talked to the mental health people, and the mental health people were saying they didn't have nothing to do with me being moved back there. And so the man did the little psych thing on me again, and he was like, you know, she's not no mental patient. I'm not finna say that she is. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, so what's the problem? Why are they having an issue with you? And so I told him, I was like, because I'm pregnant and they did not do the proper test or whatever, you know, to detect it. And he was like, so if you telling me if they do the proper test, then you'll say that you're not pregnant. And I was like, no. I was like, because I am. I was like, so ain't no you gonna try to rig no test results or none of that, you know, to have me back here and doing all that stuff to me. So then he was like, okay, well, I'm finna have you moved. Tell them they can move you back to population. So they still was refusing to move me back to population. And so they kept me back there, and I was screaming. I was having contractions, and I started having show. So show is when a woman naturally gets wet down there. So for the women out there who have been sexually active, and a woman gets turned on, sexually aroused, it'll get real moist, and they call it getting wet. You know, so when a woman have show, when you finna give birth, that's what comes out. That wetness comes out. And I didn't really know much about what was going on with me down there when I had Melbourne, because they had given me an epidural, and it numbed my whole body. And Cynthia was right here, and Austin was right here holding my leg, and then I had a white midwife that came in there when the doctor walked out and left, because I wouldn't let him give me a C-section because he had somewhere he needed to be. So basically I didn't know nothing about the show, because I didn't really get to see or feel myself down there when I was giving birth to Melbourne. So while I was in the cell, I started having show, and that's when the wetness started to come down or whatever. And I had got a book from Danielle. So Danielle, when I was in the unit, she had went to the library, and she picked up a book, and it was about giving birth, and she gave me the book. And when she gave me the book, it was talking about the cervix thinning and spreading and the show and all of that, and the contractions and how to count them. So I was in there counting my contractions, and I was having them. I was in there checking my cervix, and it was changing. I was in there having the show, and I was screaming. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was screaming, that's when I screamed. I was screaming, and next thing you know, I started having show. So I wasn't in there playing with myself at the time. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't masturbating, you know what I'm saying, to make myself wet. It just happened on its own, and I started getting real wet, and it was like it wasn't like no just sweat. No, it was real show. Like it was show. And so I was like I knew at that point I was in labor, and they had messed with the water, and they was giving me crush, like sleeping pill that was drugging me, and it was knocking me out. And then I was hungry, and I was refusing to eat the food that they was bringing me because they was poisoning the food. So that's how I lost all the weight, from being at the 200 pounds to lose weight. And when you're pregnant, you're supposed to gain at least 25 pounds. You're not supposed to lose 50 pounds while you're pregnant and then try to cover it up and then say, oh, you too small to be pregnant. And you're not supposed to lose weight while you're pregnant. You're supposed to gain weight while you're pregnant. You're supposed to gain at least a certain amount of weight while you're pregnant. You're never supposed to lose weight while you're pregnant. You know, unless you just like, I don't know, even if you already overweight, that's unhealthy for you to lose 50 pounds while pregnant that quickly, you know, under those type of circumstances of starvation and poison. So, I was having the show, and I had got in the shower, you know, and I was having the contractions, and they was doing this, they was stopping them. So, they was drugging me, causing me to put me to sleep, and stopping the contractions. And so, they was like, oh, stop screaming and all of that. And then I had started to boo-boo on myself a little bit with the pain of the contraction. And I had fell out on the floor. And the guard came, and I had started to have a bowel movement on myself. And the contractions was coming. And he asked me what was wrong. And I looked up at him off the ground, and I was crying. I was screaming. And I said, I'm in labor. And he said, okay, and left. And then they was over there drugging me and doing all of that stuff. So basically, he left me right there in labor on the ground. So then every time I would walk Blackjack was coming to see me, the Sterling guy. And every time I would walk up to the visitation to go see him at the visitation, I could barely walk without having the contractions. And I was telling him this, and he was over there setting me up. So I was telling him, I was like, I'm having contractions, and my stomach was showing a lot more, and I was having the contractions or whatever. And I was telling them, you know what I'm saying? I'm having a contraction. They got me back here. They denying me medical care. They trying to say I'm not pregnant. Blah, 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 blah. And he was like, you got to calm down, you know, just stop screaming, you know, la, la, la. I was like, well, they need to move me from the back of the jail because I was screaming when the lady was bringing me the poison trays and refusing to move me back to population. I was telling the lady, I'm going to tell the whole wide world what you doing to me. Like, la, 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 la. And then she just walked off all cocky, white lady. She just walked off all cocky, you know, like, whatever, nigga, you know. And I was screaming, and I started screaming to the jail, to people all the way in the jail when they come past for their class. I was screaming, my name is Andrea Jones. If I get killed, if I die, it was a homicide. And I was getting the names of the officers that was coming by the cell that knew I was back there, and I was screaming their names and telling them that they was involved with a homicide, that they was trying to be involved with a homicide. And then I asked, Blackjack was saying he'll get me moved, that they'll move me, and Officer Hernandez was like, I'll move you from the back cell if you stop screaming to the front cell that was by the door where everybody come in to go to their classes in the back to the church and all of that stuff, you know, and the domestic violence classes and stuff. So they had taken me out of the classes because I was going to the classes when I was in the unit with Miss Brown and Danielle and Katie. So now they done took me out the classes now. And when they took me up out of the classes, I was like, why y'all take me out of my classes? This was when they brought me back there talking about, oh, you not back here. You back here because you need to be taking your medication, and I don't take medication, and they know I don't take medication, and you know, blah, 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 blah. So, at this point, you know, they took me out of the classes, and, you know, they was in there talking about God and everything, and I noticed that I was pretty well versed, and I knew a little bit more about the Bible than they was trying to reveal, you know what I'm saying, to us, you know, and when I was telling my story about why I was in there, and the other girls was talking about why they was in there, you know, it just didn't make no sense as to why I was in there, and I don't think they liked the fact that they had me in them classes knowing damn well they shouldn't have had me back. They shouldn't have had me in the jail in the first place. And so, they took me out the classes and they took me out of population and they brought me back there and continued to poison me. And I was telling the other girls what they had did to me. But I didn't at first I didn't tell the other girls. But when they tried to drag me back there and then telling me, and I was like, I told everybody. I was like, they back here poisoning me. They back there poisoning me. That's the only reason why they bringing me back there is to continue to poison me. You know, and so it was like people that, what they gonna do? What the other inmates gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of them was setting me up anyway, pretty much all of them. You know what I'm saying? So they were more concerned about themselves, you know, than me, and the fact that I'm innocent. They looking at how it's gonna benefit them. You know what I'm saying? To not even say nothing or not even care. You know, so I had some people come to my cell when they moved me in the front because I kept screaming. I was like, they trying to murder me and my baby. They trying to murder us in this cell. They trying to murder us in this cell. And they had a lady named Maria from Tri-County. She tried to write, because I kept saying I needed the doctor. And there was a so-called head doctor that they had brought up there when I was in one of the cells and told me I was going to see the doctor. And when I went to see the man, he was like, oh, they brought me past the infirmary in the medical center. And then when I saw they was bringing me past the medical infirmary, I was like, oh, no, y'all bringing me past the doctor. I'm not going no further. And then there was a officer from the Colorado Police Department. He was like, no, you're coming. And he forced me to come and meet with this head doctor. And when I met with the dude, I was like, so you the doctor? He was like, well, I'm not an actual medical doctor. I'm more of a head doctor. And I was like, man, y'all got to be kidding me. I was like, if y'all don't take me back to my cell. And he was like, I told him, I was like, first of all, I know my rights. I said, if I have not been brought to trial in 3 months, I read the inmate handbook, then I got a right to file for me to be brought to trial. And I was like, and I've been abused in this facility. He said, well, your lawyer sent me up here to talk to you, my lawyer, Inga Chandler. He was like, and I need to know what happened to you, you know, so I can help you win your case or see, you know, basically see if I'm fit to take the stand or whatever. And I told him, I was like, well, if my lawyer knows that I'm in here being abused, you know, and I'm being denied medical care, you know what I'm saying, and everybody knows the information, and I told him a little bit about what he was doing to me, I was like, then I don't need to be talking to you or anybody. I know my rights. Y'all need to just take me to the trial. Don't say nothing else to me. And I was like, take me back to my cell. Because I asked for